Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel, welcome to the stream. Once again, live on Twitch. It's Saturday night. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, night, or whatever it is in your neck of the woods or in your part of the world. Welcome to another Twitch live stream episode. This is Bose 831 Gaming live on Twitch, and you're tuned in to a continuation of my Twitch live stream series. We're playing Farming Simulator 22 Platinum Edition. We're on the the Alma, Missouri map. And welcome, welcome, welcome. We're playing, again, you're tuned in to another episode of the Twitch live stream series for Farming Simulator 22, a Platinum Edition. Excuse me, I'm having all sorts of brain farts here. And we're playing Farming Simulator 22 Platinum Edition. We're on the Alma, Missouri map, which is a mod map that can be downloaded from the in-game mod hub. And it's Alma, Missouri. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. And I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, night, or whatever it is in your neck of the woods or in your part of the world. And without much further ado, we're just going to hop right into it. Again, tonight, before we get started, I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of setup just like I did last week. Really, this is kind of like a sort of deja vu from what we were encountering last week or on the last episode of the series. We're still kind of having similar issues again tonight. When we last went off the air on the last episode, remember, we closed out, I indicated that I was going to continue to work contracts off camera as we work towards our goal of getting our account balance up to over $1 million. And guess what, guys? I ran into some more issues with contracts. In fact, I kept encountering different little bugs here and there, and having to restart the game and reset the process, and as a result, lost a lot of time and activity that I had performed in the game, because I kept, every time when I was doing it over and over, I was afraid to save the game because I didn't want to get stuck in a bad spot and have basically a bad save game. So as I kept having to restart the game and try, to run everything back and see if I would encounter the same bug or a different variation of the bug, I was not saving the game because I didn't want to end up having a bad save game, or a save game where I saved it in a state that I was not happy with. Because again, one of the huge drawbacks to this game is that you can't have multiple saves on the same map. You can have multiple saves on the same map if you save them in different save slots, but that's basically a different version of the game on the same map. And that's the kind of the best way I could say it. You can't have multiple save games on the same map in the same save slot. You can't have different saves with the same map on different save slots, but those are in effect different games on the same map. You can't have multiple iterations of the same game saved in different slots, if that makes any sense. Or put another way, you can't save scum on this game at all. So whenever you save your last save, that's it. And if you screw up or you mess up your save to a point where you have some damage that you can't repair, at least on console, there's no way to get out of that. On PC, there are other ways you can get around that, but for us console players, we're stuck with what we have. And I probably didn't cover that when we started up on playing on console. I'm on the Xbox Series X. So this series is for everybody, but it's geared towards players who are playing Farming Simulator 22 on the console, specifically the Xbox Series X and S, but in general for all console players, for the most part, all the console versions of the game are pretty much the same, with the exception that there are some variations, some slight variations between the next gen versions and the previous gen versions, but they're very small variations here and there. And obviously the next gen versions of the games tends to have much better performance than the previous gen. That kind of goes without saying. Also, I think the next gen version of the game, those players, we have more save slots, and therefore we can store or have more mods installed on our game saves than I think players operating on previous gen console systems can. But I think that's pretty much about it as far as the differences in the game go. Obviously, if you're playing on PC, then the sky's the limit. You're really only limited by your graphics card on your PC and the size of your hard drive. But anywho, as you could see from what I'm doing here, this is one of the contracts that I'm working. Well, I guess let me back up a little bit here. Off camera, I didn't even finish my story. My apologies there. As I indicated, I was working contracts off camera. I continued to run into some of the bugs that I was running into before that we talked about in our last episode. The most common thing being is what is happening is that when I come here to the contract screen, some of my contracts were disappearing from the screen before I completed them, or at least before I collected them, I should say. In every situation that the contract disappeared, the contract was completed, but I just hadn't collected them yet. So in my process of going back and forth with the bug and kind of messing around and doing some experimentation, trying to see if I could figure out what was going on, I kind of think I have a theory on what may be happening. I also, did some searches on the internet, searched around on the Giants forums to see if anybody else had been reporting this issue. I was not able to find anything at this time, so I don't know. But I refuse to believe I'm the only one that's kind of running into this issue right now. But from what I did see, it looks like it's an issue that's, probably more common with console players. I did see that some players were having similar issues about a year ago on console after a game update, but I didn't find anything recent. But my theory is on what's happening is in Farming Simulator 22, the game kind of periodically refreshes contracts. I don't know what the cycle is, but that's why when you come onto the contracts screen, depending on what the time of day it is and what the cycle of your seasons, like how many days you have your season set at, as the contracts that are available on the screen will automatically refresh and change based on those cycles. And it's not necessarily a bug that contracts disappear off the screen. That's actually part of normal game functionality. But where the bug comes in is when contracts disappear off the screen that you haven't collected or are not completed. This is where my theory on what's happening here is in the scenarios where I've had problems with contracts disappearing off of this screen. It's when I've had contracts that are completed, but I haven't collected them yet. So I'm thinking that is part of the issue is you can't have the game when the game refreshes goes through its process of refreshing contracts, it does not exclude games that it does not exclude contracts that are completed but not collected. It just goes through and sees, okay, I have contracts on this screen. Went through all my time frames, and it's time to refresh, and it just refreshes everything that's on the screen. So I think that is the bug. Now my theory for how to get around this, and that's why I've kind of been testing this today, but I didn't have time to kind of like run through it before in time to get this tested before the live tonight. So we're kind of doing it real time tonight. Is that if I finish the contract but don't finish it all the way to completion and leave it where it's like not at 100% complete, then I won't encounter the bug. I think that's the key to it, because remember, the other thing I was doing and why I was having these completed contracts kind of lingering on the screen for a while is because I was going back collecting the straw from those contracts, and because I was collecting the straw off of large fields, it's taking me a lot of time to get the straw collected. So my theory is that if I don't have a completed contract on that screen and the contract is incomplete, it won't make that contract disappear off that screen. I think it's the other aspect of the bug. I think also is when you save the game and then you come back in the game at a later time. If you save the game, close the game, come out of the game, and then come back into the game at a later time, I think the game also does some type of refresh of contracts, because that is where I also encountered some issues too, is when I saved the game and then left out of the game and then came back into the game at a later time, because the game also refreshes contracts in that situation. And I've seen my contracts refreshing change in that situation as well. In fact, that happens more frequently than the game just refreshing as the seasons change. So I think it's a combination of those issues, but my theory is today or tonight, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to run through these contracts that I have active now, but make sure that they don't sit at that I don't complete them all the way to 100% complete before I've picked up all the straw, or in the case of the baling contract, all the bales, or whatever the case may be, depending on the type of contract that I'm working. And as you can see by my account balance, it hasn't moved that much from when we were last live, because that is somewhat due to the issue I was having with the contracts, and so as a result of some of those issues that I was experiencing there, I had to unfortunately cancel a few different contracts, because that issue was causing me some problems, and so I had to back out of some contracts that I had. And the situation was, I had one contract that I also encountered an old bug that I hadn't seen for a while, but it did pop up while I was going through the testing and everything with this situation, where I had a contract where I had a harvesting contract where I had harvested all of the crop available on the assigned field and brought that material to the shop, but I still wasn't getting credit for 100% completion of the contract. And usually that only comes up in situations where I have a harvesting contract and I harvest crop while it's raining, because when you harvest a crop while it's raining, you receive a yield penalty on the crops, and usually one of the ways that you end up not having enough crop to complete a contract when you have a harvesting contract. And I had so much stuff going on, I really couldn't tell you whether or not that was the case in that situation, because I was going through so many restarts and reloads and this thing and that thing that I probably wasn't even paying attention if I was harvesting while it was raining as I was going through completing that harvesting contract. Because if you're ever harvesting and it starts raining in game, you need to stop harvesting immediately and wait the weather out and then start back harvesting once the rain stops, because there's a very significant yield penalty on your harvest if you harvest while it's raining. And that is a game feature, not a bug. It's actually a game realism feature there. Alright. And I guess I need to get you up to speed with where we're at tonight now that I've discussed all of that. Again, I've been working harvesting contracts off camera, at least trying to. And these are the two I've ended up with today as I was continuing to try to test this stuff out off camera. And this is what I was trying to get wrapped up before we went live today, but I was not even close to being able to. But I have two contracts right now that I'm trying to work my way through. I'm on harvesting contract on field 24 for oat and a baling contract on field 40. And those are the contracts that I'm working now. But we're about to take a pause for the cause because as I've been working through these contracts off camera, my own fields are now ready to be harvested as well. So we're going to have to take a pause on working these contracts so that we can go back over to the main farm and work the fields that we have ready to be harvested on my main farm, because we don't want to fall off or lose track of that too, because that's also one of our primary purpose and reason for existence as well. So we're going to just go here and we're going to run this harvester through this field right here until we get it up to 100%, and then we're going to hop over to fields on my main farm, and we're going to work on harvesting our own crops. And then if there's any time left tonight, then we'll jump back over to these contracts and go ahead and work on them. But I'm not going to hold you up tonight, folks, with watching me work contracts and do another contract working episode, because that really was not my intention on where I wanted to be tonight. I actually wanted to come in here tonight and have it where we were working on some other stuff, and I could show you that we had finally accomplished our goal, and we were now just in the process of picking up the animals and moving on to some other activities on this series. But unfortunately things didn't work out, so this is where we're at tonight. And if we go here to the filter view, you can kind of get an idea of how much work we've done on this contract on 24. All the purple area are all areas that we've harvested, and the orange areas are areas that we need to finish harvesting on. Same thing here on field 40. But again, those are the contract fields. And let's go back over here to 24. Where am I? Where's that tractor? Okay. So this is what I want to do on 24 real quick right here. We're going to go ahead and clean up these edges. Before we hop over to the main farm, I'm going to go over here and we're going to clean up these edges. Because I'm not going to take you through the whole process of me grabbing up all this straw, or at least attempting to grab all this straw here tonight, because that's kind of tedious. But anyway, I've shown you as a console player a way that you can get that done. It's, and as I pointed out on last week's episode, it is kind of cheaty, but again, that's the thing with, you know, your play style and how you want to play the game and what you consider realistic or a cheat or an exploit, and so on and so forth. And if cheats or exploits or things like that are an issue with you, then by all means play the way you want to play. But this is kind of how I'm going to do it in this series. But definitely, you know, do it the way that works the best for you and where you have fun. Because like I always say, if you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? So definitely check that out. Figure out the way you want to play, and if you don't mind a little bit of a cheat or a little bit of an exploit, then you can harvest or pick up the straw from your contracts. It's not part of the normal gameplay cycle, but there are ways you can get it done, and I went over some of that in the last couple of episodes of my series, and you can check that out at your leisure if you're just tuning in for the first time with me tonight. But as a console player, you do have to jump through more hoops than if you're on the PC, but there are ways for you to get the straw from any harvesting contracts that you may have. Right? Now that we've covered that and got that out of the way, again, what I'm probably going to do is I'll come back and work on picking up all the straw we acquired from this contract off camera, because I definitely don't think we're going to get into that too much tonight. Once I hop back over to our main farm and we go ahead and work on our harvesting that we need to do on the main farm. I have one grass field and one grain field on my main farm that are ready to harvest. I have another grain field that is not ready to harvest, but once we move into the next day of the month, it should be ready to harvest then. So let's see. There are those corners. So I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to continue, and I have crop destruction turned off here, guys, so don't panic here if you see me drive across my crop. I just found that, and the reason why I turned that off is because I found it inconsistent that if I'm working contracts, crop destruction doesn't happen even if you have it turned on for contract crops. It only happens to the player's crops. So I don't like that application of that particular game setting, so I went ahead and turned it off for all crops, because if it's not on for contract crops, in my humble opinion, it shouldn't be on for the crops I own as well. Otherwise, to me, kind of what's the point? Although I know that's all about players that want to play with a little, per se, added realism, but I don't like that they're not consistent about it. If you're going to play with that setting turned on, it should be that way across the board if you're playing with that setting turned on. And that's just me. And that's my take on that. Alright, so that piece. And I'm going to have to come back and finish up all these little patches here. And as you can see, the worker had fun missing different sections of the field, but I can understand this field a lot more than some other fields, because this is a very irregular shaped field here, so I can see the worker missing a lot of stuff here. because the layout of this field is pretty crazy. That there's a little corner over here. We're gonna go ahead and knock that out. Because once I hit 100%, I'm done, and then we're gonna make a delivery, or at least load our trailers up, man. And if we do fill them up on this, when we unload the harvester, then I'll go ahead and make a delivery. If we don't fill them up, then we're just going to park it, and we'll tune back into our contract workers and our contracts at a later time today. But my focus is going to be on my own fields on my main farm once we finish what we're doing here at the moment. So here, that little section, and take a peek and see. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. 92%. Still got a long way to go before we get 100. We're going to go ahead and manually grab this. Just picking up all this straw is going to be fun, and I don't want to send you guys through all of that. But based on the bug that we countered and what's been happening, I do know I'm gonna need to pick this straw up as quickly as possible, because once we start rolling into different days, then there's no telling. What I may also consider is kind of opening up, because right now we're playing with the 2-day months. There it is, 100%. I may also consider switching up to 3-day months, just to give me a little more time to work through some of this stuff without these contracts resetting on me so quickly, because that may be a factor as well. One other thing I did is I've changed the time scale from 3x that I normally play at to real time, just to give me more time to do everything I need to do as well. And also, that was something that I was taking under consideration as I was doing my testing as well. Because I think all of these things are factors in the timing of contracts. And again, just as a summary, what I'm talking about here is your time scale, the days per month. All of these things affect how contracts appear on your contract screen, and when they may go away or disappear from the contract screen. And again, that is not a bug, and that is actually part of normal game functionality. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a break from that now, like I said, and it's time to get to work on our main farm. And also, I don't think we had this over here when we were last live as well, but this is look, these are the some of the packs from the global transport pack, and in these are big bags from that global transport pack by 82 Studios, and we have straw pellets stored in these, and this is all straw from contracts, and you can see we got 3 of them that are full. One of them that has a quarter full or so. It has, let's see how many liters is in that one. 55,807 liters, and these can hold, what is it, 200,000 liters? Yeah. So, and those all, right now these are all filled with straw pellets, and that's all straw collected from my contracts. And these are the bales that I've collected from contracts. These are not, yeah, these silage bales are my own silage bales, and these are the other straw bales that I have that come from the crops on my main farm. All right. So when we come in on the next episode, if things are working as planned, we should have a few more big bags here as I collect straw from that other harvesting contract that we're working now, as well as the straw from the main farm. Can't forget about that. Alright, so here are the fields that we need to work on the main farm. We got grass here, and then we got, what is it, older barley out on field, what field is that? Get over here. Field 3, we have oat. That's right. We got oat because we plan on doing horses in the future. So we wanted to go ahead and get a leg up on that, pun intended. So we have oat stored to help feed our horses down the line. The one other bonus thing with the premium expansion is we also have additional feed options for our animals, because we have new crops, and those new crops have been included in the feed ratios for the animals in the game as well. So there are some of the new crops, you can use those as parts of feed for horses, for our horses, cows, pigs. I think it's just horses, cows, and pigs. I don't think anything changed for the sheep. Sheep are still grass and hay. Alright, so we got that. We know what we need to do, so let's get to it. Good. Park this bad boy. And we're gonna grab a John Deere 6250R and our mower. Once we get a little bit more money, I'm going to replace these mowers with the swather machine that you see me using for the contracts right now, that I lease for those contracts, because as I understand it, on swathing enabled maps, which this map is, you can get a better yield from using the swathing equipment in that pack versus other equipment that you have available in game. So we're gonna, once we get a little bit more money, we'll also go ahead and pick up the swather as well and use that for mowing situations. Even though with the setup that I have here, I have a much wider spread, but the swathing is supposed to give us a bigger yield, so we'll just have to take that hit. Let's see, back that up. A little more. Got more on. But our both mowers, excuse me. Alright, and we're rocking. now we're just gonna mow the grass on this field, and I think we'll just turn it into silage. So I'll come back through with my baler, and we'll make some silage bales, and then just call it a day on that and start working on getting this field prepped for the next cycle. I still got to figure out what's the best process for working my fields with when you're playing with precision farming, so that I max my yield on everything. I haven't got that quite figured out yet. I'm trying to think. It's like after I harvest this field, do I want to come back through? I'm not sure what I want to do next. Like, do I come back through and mulch, or do I come back through? Because grass will automatically regrow. I think what I want to do is just come back through in the mulcher once the grass starts to grow again and I have visible growth. I gotta wait until it starts to regrow first, and then I gotta mulch it. And I think that will get me what I need. But we'll see once we get to that point. Alright, coming through that little cut there, I missed a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have to come back and get all that. As we come up this hill here, the tractor slows down quite a bit, and I think that's just a function of the horsepower of the tractor, because we got all these mowers attached and everything, which kills the power of the tractor. Probably, tractor with a little bit more horsepower when you're running certain configurations and you have a lot of attachments or heavy equipment running off of the PTO from the tractor. Alright, backing up. Coming back around. As we come to each corner, we just got to make sure we turn around properly so that we don't miss a lot of material. back up and make sure pick up those other areas of material that we missed on our previous pass. And so far so good. And then we come across a section on the side and it's the same situation. So at this point, we're just going through and mowing this grass, and once we get the grass mowed, then we'll come back through with our baler, and we'll bale everything up and create silage bales, and we'll keep those silage bales on the main farm until we're ready to use them again. Kind of one of the neat things that I kind of identify with here that I've seen in real life, as far as like baling goes, because I happen to stay in the area of my home state, and while I'm not exactly in a rural area, I am in a city area, but not like a big city area, so that I'm very close to a bunch of rural areas, and there are a lot of farmers around the outskirts of where I live. I do get to see a lot of, or at least a decent amount of farming equipment, and in real life it's kind of neat how I've seen some of these same tractors and configurations and things like we see in the game. And that, as we're talking about baling here, I've actually in my area in real life got to see how farmers do their bales in real life, even how some farmers store their bales, or at least some of their bales. And there's in a lot of places in this area where I'm at in Florida, like, and I'm in North Florida, like a lot of farmers actually, when they do their bales, they'll leave them right there, out there in the field for a decent period of time before they even mess with them and come through and get them on a trailer. They, a lot of times, from what I've seen, they'll be out there for quite some time before, and whether that be hay, silage, or whatever. But in my area, the most common types of bales that I see are hay bales. So, but even with those hay bales, man, they'll bale them up and leave them right out there in the field until they need them. They don't, like a lot of these guys in this area, at least from what I've seen, they don't even seem to be worried about loading them up on a bale trailer and hauling them off to some big bale storage facility or anything like that. They just leave them out there in the field, stacked up, or not really stacked up most of the time. Most of the time they're just laid out exactly where they put them at. Although I have seen where some guys, even though they still keep them out there in the field, when they They'll stack them up kind of like how you see I got my bills, and just have them off to the side somewhere on the farm, or a lot of times they'll even leave them out there in that same field where they build them at. Just one of those things that you find pretty interesting. And then I also have gotten to see a lot of these tractor and mower setups in real life, because in this area you see a lot of guys, at least from what I've seen in my area, there's a lot of like cities and municipalities here that use these tractor and mower setups to maintain a lot of our roadside areas here in the state. So it's not uncommon to see a John Deere like this one here with the same setup that I'm driving right here. As you're driving along some of our highways alongside the road, mowing grass in the medians or on the side of the road, or any other areas that the state might maintain around the state. Just interesting stuff. So we're keeping on our grind here. We're just gonna continue to mow this grass and get it all chopped up nice, neat, and short. Then I gotta think about how I'm gonna prep this field for the next harvest cycle, so that we optimize our whole process and make sure I set myself up for the best yield situation. It's usually the way things play out when you first acquire a field. You gotta take some hits, because you gotta work the field into your cycle and your rotation, and it takes a little while to get there, especially after you get the stones out of the field first. So that's why you have to, as soon as you buy a new field, you have to, best practice is to go ahead and plow it over, so that you pick up all those stones. And then once you have the stones up, then you can come through, pick those stones, and then from there, then you can start your whole harvest cycle. And you can work on increasing your environmental score. It's going to take some penalties early on until you get the field started, as I like to call it, and then start working on your process. chopping it up here. Almost done. Not quite out of the woods yet. And keeping in mind, this is only one of two fields that we're going to have to work tonight. The other one's just a more straight up harvest situation. And even though it is, you still gotta, like, always be thinking of planning ahead on what you're going to do next with that field. Now, as I understand it, in real life, what farmers typically do is on their fields is they rotate the crops because that helps to increase soil fertility and their other benefits as well, which I don't know off the top of my head anymore. But in normal situations, many times a farmer will plant one type of crop for one harvest cycle and then rotate into another type of crop for the next harvest cycle, and so on and so forth, keeping in mind that the crop types need to have planting and harvesting cycles that complement each other. It's like the closer you get to the finish, the more you have left. If that makes any sense. I don't like that I keep seeing little patches that I miss. I can't be super greedy. Alright, gotta cut it up a little more. This is one more patch here. That should be it. Some folks play a little different, but this is the way I like to play it. If I have a shop, if I have a shop on site after I use my equipment for a significant amount of time, I like to go ahead and come over to the shop and do our repairs and maintenance after each use. We'll go ahead and do that now and repair our mowers and repair our tractor. The way I like to think of that, you know, because sometimes people are literal and they like, no, my tractor's not broke, so I shouldn't have to do all that maintenance. But the way I think of it is kind of like, this is like a combination of your routine maintenance versus if your equipment was actually, you know, you actually encountered a breakdown with your equipment. You had to call the tech rep out or whatever the case may be, or take it to the shop. And that maintenance fee is just kind of like a combination of all those things. A simulation, or I think it's using it in the right context, approximation of what all those combined opportunity costs might be. So next up, we're going to go ahead and grab our baler, and we're going to make some silage. Alright, we're going to unfold the baler, lower our pickup, and turn it on. And for those of you who are new to the game, or it's your first time seeing me in the series, the baler that I'm using is a quick baler. It's a modded baler. You can find this baler on the in-game mod hub. It's called the Quick Bell. And you can see one of the cool features that I like about this one is you got a light that shows you the harvesting area, pickup area. The pickup area is of course been increased for the mod. As you can see how wide it is there. When you turn the lights on, you have a color. You can set the color, but you have an indicator here that shows how wide the width of the pickup area. And it only shows up when you turn your lights on, and you get to pick the color of the pickup area indicator as well. Bear with me a little bit here, folks. The time of night and the lateness is catching up with me a little bit and starting to kind of fade out a little bit here tonight. I'm a little more tired than I thought. Generally, you get the idea of what we're doing here. I'm going to run through this piece here. As you can see, this significantly cuts down the amount of time it would take me to get this field done. So we'll move on to the next big thing. The other thing I like that the quick build does with these round builds, they always have a tendency to kind of roll off the field depending on what type of field you're harvesting on. Most of the time, on a field that has any angles, the bales would always roll all over the place. But with this mod, when it spits out your bales, it puts them in a flat position instead of on their sides, and that means everything. That keeps your bales from rolling off the field. Alright, so where are we? checking the time. We're coming up on the start of our final hour. Actually, we're already 12 minutes into. He's saying in accordance with the time that I'm looking at here. And with the setup, man, might not seem like it, but we're saving a lot of time. Yep. Kind of fading out tonight again. As we get into these long harvest cycles and things like that. I mean, there are definitely a lot of situations where I will kind of run out of commentary and won't have much to say. That's why you see you'll have many cycles where I go a little quiet for a little while we just kind of play the game, and you can kind of watch and just kind of play along with me. Alright, we got a couple more sections to go here. We're just about done. And once we get all this wrapped up, we can focus on getting our bales loaded onto our bale trailer, and then we'll jump over to our other field. Get our oat harvest going. There it is. That's everybody. Alright. Good. And we're going to return our baler back to our shed. Run a little maintenance on it. Alright, do our maintenance, repair, $4. Repair a tractor, $2.40. Let's go ahead and fold our baler. Alright, and next step in the process is, let's see, what size bales are these? These are alright, 25,000 liters, but I don't know how many centimeters. Find out. So, tell me real quick. Grab the salad. Now, if they're the same size, we should be able to mix them up on the trailer. Awesome. Alright, I think that's all of them. We're going to go ahead and switch to transporting position. We're at 84%. Actually add some more bills to the stack in the future. Unload bales. Unload bales here. Boom, boom. Reset the trailer. Get it out of the way. Alright. Grab our trailer. And get ready for the harvesting cycle. Let's go and jump on over to our harvester that we get rid of the work. Turn our beacons on. Our next stop is whoops. Field 9. Helps you drive in the right direction. Out the way, dear. Shoot, shoot, shoot. You're still running in front of me. Confirm that the AI deers are just as stupid as the real life deer. So that's our field. Gotta get a situation where we can have our header here to the side. Let's fill on the side. That already. The best of it. Alright, so we got a harvester set up here. We want to first of all start off by getting our what is called a headland around the edges of the field. Got to make it easier for us to hire an AI worker. That AI worker to work the field without getting confused when he gets to the edges of the field. So I'll put the harvester away. Open the header, turn it on. They're ready to go. So here manually first. Like way and get my headland done, my edges. Again, all we're doing right now is just going around all of the edges of the field, basically creating a clearance area around the edges of the field. Theoretically, should help the worker to be able to work better, more room to run around. Right into La La Land. See Daisy. As you can see, this field is larger than our grass field, so harvesting on this field is going to take even a longer amount of time than it took for us to do grass field. Definitely worth my while to see if I can get a AI worker to finish up on this field. I'd love to tell you guys tonight that don't finish this episode before the next episode. is a realistic situation. Back in our next episode, left out, but that's the case because I'm still going to be working on these contracts. Still be ahead on time and a few other things. Come back in, he already be on to something else. I just work some more contracts on there. Because of the size of those two fields that I do have, my contracts, it's still going to take quite some time. Invest in here though, because you guys have seen me harvest realistically. You've seen me do some unrealistic stuff, and I may just go ahead and past harvesting setup for the equipment that I have now. So that's what it's sold. That's part of it over here where I can finish it. Harvesting at realistic speeds. There's a way to set it up when you are past harvesting. Try switching on an AI worker now. Guess what? He's at 100%. Ready for our trailer so we can load the crops. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Turned it. Right turn, collide right turn. power is off. Well, we got that one going. Go ahead and pop the pipe out here. And go ahead and grab these harvest trailers here and go unload that harvester that we're using for contract. Figure out where I am in relation to the harvester. Let's just give you an idea of the scale on how large this field is. Right. We got that load unloaded. Back in harvest. Pipe in. So this is section here. This field is so gigantic. I'm gonna have to risk saving the game if we come back and grab up all this straw that we have here. Realistic way I'm gonna be able to grab all that straw in one gaming session. No way. I'm gonna hire the worker there and come back and revisit that. Take a look at that. Excuse me, our worker on our main crop, he's doing okay, and then hop over to our other contract. he decided to take a break, so able to go in and live with that one. Line up. Okay. And looks like a good screenshot time situation. About to have a full tank, so go ahead. Trailer ready. Alright, so next stop is on farm grain silo to unload what we have harvested. Okay, we're back on the main farm. Whoa, checking the time. We ready for the wrap up, just about. So coming up on the end of tonight's episode. So for the wrap up, I'm just gonna say, like I always say, if you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? This is Jose 831 Gaming. This has been another episode of my Twitch live stream series, Farming Simulator 22 Platinum Edition on the Alma, Missouri map. And I am Jose 831 Gaming. I'm on a few of your major social media platforms, and I'm Jose 831 Gaming on each of those. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. When I have content posted, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you like, let me know what you love, let me know what you don't. By the way, let me know. Oh, and I also forgot YouTube, the most important one. And the same thing goes for my YouTube channel. If you found me on YouTube and you're watching my videos on YouTube, which are basically recordings of my Twitch live streams posted to my YouTube channel, not really doing anything else yet. Once my channel starts to grow and I get more feedback and things of that nature from the community, I will definitely branch out into doing other things. But that's going to depend on you, the people. I hear from you on what you guys want to see. But right now I'm still really small, but I'm going to keep at it, going to keep working hard, going to keep plugging away and hopefully get better. At least that's the goal. And continue to grow this channel. I know I'm kind of an old man in a young man's game, but hopefully and prayerfully there will be a place for me in it. And my Twitch, all episodes of this Twitch live stream series are uploaded to my YouTube channel in their entirety. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe there. And it's the same deal. Let me know what you like, let me know what you love, let me know what you don't. But by the way, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. That's how we get to it. That's how we do it. And that's how I get better. That's how you get better. The content that you want to see, you give me the feedback I need to grow, improve, and get better. So it's a win-win for everyone. Look at her. Actually, I'm surprised the AI worker actually did better over there than I thought he would. We actually cleaned that up. Oh, I stand corrected. He missed a whole big chunk here. Then how did he get over here? That's interesting. That's a weird pattern here because I started him out over here. Yeah, that's weird. Because he was over here and he went all the way up here up top. Then turned around and missed this little spot and came back this way. And then he like skipped this area over here and came over here. That's weird. It's my lawnmower back. Right now it's kind of not very efficient to have to micromanage. Of course, there's no heads or out of gas. I say that's a figure of speech, not literally. Take them over here. Grab all these spots that we missed. And the worker has a full range. Give him cut you off. Right to that all the way back. Put him in the other direction. Damn it, it's not turning. So I can never get him straight. Alright, I'll go to our trailer. Alright, that's it. We reached the end of tonight's episode. Thank everyone again for tuning in. This has been another episode of Rose 831 Gaming live on Twitch. Simulator 22 Platinum Edition. Alma, Missouri map. And we are out of here, and I will catch you flip side. Have a good night, everyone.